Good day everybody, welcome back to the studio. Today I thought I might show you something that I want to do. I want to create little acrylic sort of skins that look a little bit like gold leaf. I just got this idea by cleaning up my studio, believe it or not. So I thought I might just do some, because I want to do some Christmas decorations. So with resin. So in this cup, which has a little bit of PVA glue, not measuring anything. So just some bright gold, Le'Rez, going in there, and I thought I might use a little bit of, just to see how it goes, this golden sage. I'm just going to use the same. This should come up good. Might be a little bit dull until that PVA glue kind of dries up, and I might actually add a little bit. I'll get a clean stick, a little bit of this honeycomb ultrafine glitter and put it in here with wrong place. It's supposed to go in here because this does look yellow like honeycomb, but it will once this sets, it'll have a lot of green in it. So just want a little bit of sparkling with that green. Bloody hell, I can't believe I buggered that up. Well, we'll see what happens. You just never know, do you? So I'm just going to stir that in a little bit. So that's just PVA glue. I will add a little bit of water to it. I don't have to, but there's a lot of pigment in here. So see how nicely that mixes? It does, takes off the shine a little bit, and see how this one goes. Actually that green, rather honeycomb, didn't make a huge difference with the green. See how it's looking really dull at the moment? See what happens. It does have that shimmer in there. You can do the same thing with resin, only with resin the skin is just going to be too hard. Like this, it gives you that papery kind of, you know, so you can rip it easily. Well, this is a thicker bit. I'm going to try and make it really thin. So see what happens. I'm actually going to put a little bit more glitter in here. Because that glitter, it does have a green overtone. So I will add, just tap it in there. It's a very, very fine glitter. I suppose I could use in here some sun catcher just to give it that extra shine, because I'm going to need a lot of gold and green. Oh yeah, that's lovely. In with my Christmas decos, so I think I might just do that. Let me just get some sun catcher. Okay, got my sun catcher. This one is like a glitter powder. You have to be very careful not to breathe it in. The glitter, the ultrafine glitter, it's fine, but it's not as fine as this stuff. This stuff, you only have to touch it and it flies around everywhere. I'm just going to pop some in there. I'm actually going to put quite a bit in there, because that looks white, but it's really golden. Don't know if you can see it on the knife. It's absolutely gorgeous. Careful even putting a lid on. So now, carefully stirring. We'll see. Can't tell just yet how it's going to turn out, but I just want to make sure that it's all mixed in beautifully. So that PVA glue will make it so it stays together. And the water just dilutes it a little bit, so it's not as, you know, it doesn't come out like rubber. Okay, so there's more PVA glue here than water, but we'll see what happens. My famous words, see what happens. This one may not turn out, well, we'll see, because it looks pretty grey and dull at the moment. So all I'm going to do is, I'm not even going to use a brush. I'm just going to pour it. down here, just like that. Ooh, look at all that glittery gorgeousness. Let it all pour out of the cup, and I'm going to do this one on this end here, and then I'm just going to flip this half of the plastic. Looks pretty dull at the moment, especially this one, but I know this is golden sage and it does have a lot of gold undertone in this pigment. You can actually see it sitting on top there. That's the actual pigment, not the glitter. Glitter, you can see that it's glitter. Alrighty, so just gonna get rid of that. Get rid of that. And I might just, I actually might use my stick just to spread it out a little bit. And then we're just going to use our hands. I just don't want it too much to the end, at the end here. Go that way. Like I said, didn't measure anything. Maybe this is even too much, but we'll see. Because I'll have this on both sides, so it's going to create a real thin skin. Hopefully, we'll see. Don't know yet until it's done. Let me just clean my stick and use the same one. Like that. This is so gorgeous. You can use satin gold. It's just a little bit lighter in tone, not as bright as this one. I'll let some of it merge over there. Okay. So I could spread it all out, but I want to do it the easy way, which will be just folding this plastic over and just kind of and just doing this. Making sure that it's all covered and hopefully none of it leaking out. That's even too thick. Okay, that's way too thick. Could have done the whole side with just one colour. Okay, well there you go. Something I've learned again by making a mistake. So I suppose you can get, because this was a Ziploc bag, you can grab a Ziploc bag and just fill it up a little bit with the paint, and actually that would have been a better idea. I might even have to do that because I've got way too much here. So you can use a brush. Some of these things, these are merging together here, which makes it really nice as well. I'm going to open it up now. That's going to set. It's going to take a little while for it to set though, because it's quite wet. But it should come up pretty good. Some bubbles there, not worried about them at all. Let me see if I can do that with the Ziploc bag. Just for the sake of, you know, showing you and me. So what I'm going to do is just going to pick up, so this is way too big, this Ziploc bag. Let me go get another smaller one. Bloody hell. Okay, got a smaller Ziploc bag. This should work. Just going to take as much as I can, plonk it in there. I want it thin because it's supposed to be gold leaf, not a gold skin. So that's why I'm grabbing as much as I can. And once we fold it, I should be good. So there's lots there. We don't want any of it sitting on top. We want a nice thin bit, thin layer on both sides. Some of them thinner, some not as thin. So okay, I've got that on there now. Now take all of it off. Waste not, want not, right? Close the Ziploc bag and just swoosh it around like that. So you can imagine if you want to make a big piece, get a big Ziploc bag like I have. lots of them, usually from getting stuff, and then I kind of keep them. And then you can open it up or just cut it up and open it flat. And I don't have room where to do it. Let's see, that will be the messy part, I think. Look at these gorgeous skins. I left these behind, and I nearly got rid of them because I was cleaning over here, and I thought, no, I'll save them as well. I feel bad. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just, I wouldn't leave them in a plastic like this because I want to open it up, and also it'll take longer for it to dry like this. So I'm just going to cut. Can you see over here? Let me move you over a little bit. Okay, now you can see what I'm doing. I just don't want to, so I'm just going to cut that bit off. Of course, it's pretty wet, and then I'm going to cut bottom side off. Maybe a bigger one would have been a better idea. Anyway, this is the way I went. I'll get it right one of these days. That's that part off, and then I'm going to cut this one off and just open her up. Use gloves. I've already had a drip down there. And then just, see what I did? Okay, don't do it that way. But anyway, that's the idea, right? So you've got it. And this down here, that's going to turn into a skin as well. That was way too much in there. Learn from my mistakes, guys. So obviously, let's try that again with a little bit less. That's going to end up being a skin down there too. That'll peel off that plastic without a problem. Clean my hands. Now let's see if I can do a better job with this green. Don't put as much in there. Not as much as I did in the other one, that's for sure. So obviously if you were using a bigger Ziploc bag, you'd get a better result than me. But the other one, Ziploc bag, was just way too big. Okay, so that's what you want. You want a nice flat, you don't want any bulgy bits. Okay. So if you keep it out in the sun, it'll dry up pretty quickly in there. I just don't like these things kind of, because it's wet and going moldy on me. So now I'm going to cut that bit off. Nothing should leak because there's not a lot in there. And the bottom one as well. And once I open her up, she should be sweet as gold. There we go. See, that was the idea, but if you're using a big one, obviously it's going to be easier than that. Right, so now that I've done this, let me just go back with this. Fold it over. Like so. You can use a brush. Actually, brush would probably be better. Nice big brush if you got one, because this one's a bit too small and it's creating these dents. But just for the sake of showing you, and I don't even know if it's going to work out, but we shall see. If you're watching this video now, obviously it's worked out. And if you're watching it and it doesn't work out, I've posted it there so to show you what not to do. Okay, so that is that. We're going to open her up again. Actually, before I open her up, I'm going to transfer the whole thing in another spot so I can use this to paint something. So anyway, let me just open her up just to show you. Hold on just a second. Okay, so I went over there to grab a piece of cardboard, which I can just slide underneath there, and it's ready to go. And then I just open her up like that to show you. See, that is much, much better. I won't open it all the way. I will do it over there. And then I'm just going to use a heat gun from the height just to pop those bubbles, but they will go all by themselves. However, they might leave some, you know, funky looking cells that I don't really want in here. So same thing with this, transfer it over here. I'm going to move this to another area where I can so that I got my painting area here ready. Let me just plonk that closed again, spread it out a bit, and then reopen it. Oh no, what have I done? There we go, just like that. Move this up a little bit. Alrighty, so that needs to go down a little bit. I'll fix it up when I move it, I'll just rearrange it. Okay, so now you're seeing it, stay put, and I'll show you when it's all dried up and ready to go. Okay, so here I have it. I don't know if you can see that shimmer, the gorgeous shimmer. What I did was, I've got it outside in the sun. There's no wind, which is great. And I tipped some out here, because I want that to be really nice and thin. So I went that way, flipping it over that way, and down this way as well. So that's why you can see that gold pouring down there. And I've got my other little skins. Don't know if they will turn out or not, but that gold one's definitely looking amazing. So I'll keep it out here just for a little bit, and then I'll bring them inside. Okay, so I started peeling it. It's only been about an hour and a half. So it's still pretty, well, it's not wet anymore. It's dry to touch, but I want to leave it a little bit because it's kind of ripping on me. But once you get it started, it's hard to get it started on these thin, really thin parts. So you start somewhere where it's a bit thicker, and then you should be able to pull off, you know, big chunks of it. I doubt that I'll be able to take the whole piece like that, because it wasn't, see, when I started going over it a little bit with the heat gun, I buggered up a couple of areas. But yeah, I will leave it all day. And then actually I might pop it back out in the sun now that I'm not worried about the thing folding over and wrecking everything. And then that should speed it up a bit. Okay, we are back. Here's something that I've already pulled up. I'll just kind of ripped it in half to make it a bit easier for myself. Very, very thin. Just want to show you. I'm just using, I've got a little chisel. You can use whatever, and just started it here a little bit, and see, once you start it, it will move. The real thin bits probably won't be as cooperative as the other ones, but see, it is moving. And I will cut or rip that part there. Maybe I'll just go like that and cut it. Not worried, this is just the resin piece underneath there that I'm trying to fix, and I'm just lifting this. Oopsie, it will rip likely. But see, it's lifting off the plastic. A bit hard to do it without it being on a flat surface. But it is lifting. See that? It ripped there. All good. So that's it. Look how that is just like, see that? Oops, there it goes. It's really cool, and you can cut it. It's pretty tough. Oh, excuse me. Wow, where'd that come from? See what I mean? You can stretch it. It's a little bit stretchy, but look how cute it is. Scrunch it up like that. Create something out of it. So that's that piece there. So just what it's been cooking out in the sun for maybe about, I don't know, an hour. I've actually forgot about it, and I thought, oh, I bloody better go and check on that project that I'm working on. So I'm just going around now and trying to, oh, there it is. I've already started one here. You can use something, like I said, bigger and not as harsh as this, because this is obviously a steel one, so it's a little bit rough. But if you want to be really patient, you can do the whole thing like that. But I'm not. Can you see what I'm doing? Just digging in there, and see it's ripping in some parts, and then I can just go around and lift it and just rip. Look at that. Whee! That green didn't turn out great. It's very sparkly. It's got a bit of gold in it and lots of that green stuff, so I'll still be able to use it, but the gold is definitely the bomb. And let me just go and grab, there we go, so I started that corner there. I'm just going to lift that. Look at that. Oops, I buggered that bit. Okay, not to worry. And then just kind of, look at that. Cut it, shape it. How I would keep this, probably in a book, just in between pages, you know, just do it that way. Look at that. Some bits don't want to work with you, but depends on, you know, look at that. Ah, there it goes. There's that. Pop that in there. Okay, so this here is the little Ziploc bag that I used. The bit in that crease there is still wet. I should wipe it with something first. So let's see how that works. That is really, really thin. Normally I would start from a thicker part, but it's a bit tricky there because it's still a little bit wet because I didn't have this piece outside in the sun. I might just start here in this corner, just give it a little cut first, and then push. Like I said, don't worry about my piece underneath there, it's going to be redone. I just want to get it started somewhere, like down here. See that? It is a little bit fiddly, guys, but it's much cheaper than buying gold leaf. You know, do with it whatever you want. And it creates some really cool stuff. And the longer, obviously, you leave it, better it gets, because that one is obviously still not completely dry. So if you use that in a larger bag, maybe make it a little bit thicker. Oh, look at that, it's actually coming off much easier. You don't have to use a bag, you know, use any plastic. Use thicker plastic, maybe it'll be better in the thicker plastic. It's just an idea, that's all. But it's definitely coming off easier off of this bag. So I think it depends on the bag as well. Let's see, this part here is like really thin. See if I can lift some off. Lucky I have a couple of nails that I can get, so that's lifting as well. Look at that. Very, very thin. That is definitely so thin. But it'll all be used. Like I said, pop it in a nice, in a book, even an art book. Any kind of book that you can, just trying to start it over here. Yeah, any kind of book that you know, you don't care if you have some skins in, just to preserve. Here we go, look at that. Coming off nice and easy. Anyway, let me know what you think about this idea. I really like it. Takes a little bit of fiddling, but once you perfect it, grab this idea, make it your own, do something, use different materials, use different kind of bags and things, and you won't regret it. Let me know what you think. Ooh, what's going on out there? Jeez Louise. Okay, so that's a real thin part as well. It's all coming off. Like that. And if you are, you know, if you can't get some of these pieces out, that's okay as well, because you can cut them into shape and use the whole thing in resin. It's plastic. Resin turns into plastic, so you can even use that. It's still thin, it's still flexible, and there you go. I think I'm done for this video. Got a few more to take out. Look at that. Let me get a gold one. The gold ones are much nicer. Look at that. So light. And still pretty tough in some areas. That's it. You can even probably shape it over something and create something, I don't know. Glue it on. Pop it in your resin. Anyway, I will be using these in my Christmas decorations. So that's going to be another video, which I will share with you guys. Of course, Christmas is coming up now, and, you know, let's make something fun. Bye for now. Here's the book. This is just an art book, and you just place them like that so they're not overlapping. There we go. Just put a few in there. Have them nice and flat if you want. And that's it. Really easy stuff. Okay. So I could have only gold in here. Next page can be gold and green, or just some green, or whatever color I use. And then you close that page and you put some on the other side. And that's it. Just keep going. Done.